You're listening to the Roofing Success Podcast, a show created to inspire roofing contractors to achieve optimal success in their roofing businesses. I'm the host, Jim Moline, the co-author of the book, Internet Marketing for Roofing Contractors, How to Triple Your Sales and Turn Your Roofing Website into an Online Lead Generation Machine. I'm also the co-founder of Roofer Marketers, the digital marketing agency for the roofing industry. On each episode, I'll be sitting down with industry leaders to talk about their processes, the lessons they've learned, and how to find success in roofing. Hey, welcome to another episode of the Roofing Success Podcast. As always, wherever you're listening, wherever you're watching, please subscribe, please share, please comment, please like, please follow, whatever the button says, please do that. So today we're gonna get a little geeky. I like the geeky side of things. I started out as a programmer in the early 2000s, writing code. And so I love technology and the way that technology breaks things, I guess is the best way to put it. And technology definitely breaks things. And one of the big topics nowadays is around artificial intelligence. And a lot of the time we hear about artificial intelligence and how it's going to change the economy with the truck driver, right? That's the first person we hear is going to be out of a job, right? When AI takes over driving the trucks. But I heard a discussion around AI recently that that doctors may be the first ones out of a job due to AI. And it's because of the way that AI can analyze things. So, when a doctor is looking for cancer and they're looking at the scans that they've done, AI can identify cancer on a much more granular level than we as humans based on our eyesight. This technology is out there, and this technology is now in the roofing industry, or has been really for a little while now. And so that's what we're going to talk about today, how this has entered the roofing industry and what it's going to change and how things have changed. And so today we have Garrett Martinez with Kespry and Justin Hook with XAP 360. So really happy to have you guys on here to discuss this and all of the stuff that's going on in the industry, which is really super exciting to me as, and my geeky side. So Justin, how about you introduce yourself and XAP 360 and your relationship with Kespry and Garrett over there, and Garrett can kind of speak to that a little bit more and introduce yourself over there too.
Sure, absolutely. Thank you for having us on, Jim. First of all, big fans of the podcast and happy that you were able to reach out to us and that we were able to take part in an episode. With that being said, yes, my name is Justin Hook. I'm the Chief Operations Officer for XAP 360. XAP 360 is what we would consider the leader in drone-based roofing inspection. A company founded in 2018 by Phil Pratt, who's with our company here as our CEO and lead of sales. But from the operational standpoint, I took the reins in February of 2020, so right before the pandemic, was able to come on board and develop strategic partnerships, strengthen strategic partnerships already in place with the likes of Kespry, who is our software provider and much more than just a software provider, but a true partner in this endeavor that we have been a part of. And my goal has been to focus on strategic partnerships across the roofing landscape, helping roofers and contractors alike really develop processes and procedures that utilize our technology to help them become more efficient and all around better opportunity, a better customer, better contractor, better roofing company to the areas that they serve.
Awesome. So Garrett, where does Kespry fit into that?
Yeah, it's a great question. Echo Justin's sentiment here. Thank you, Jim, for having us on. Kespry is an aerial data based solution, a startup out of San Francisco. I've been in the company for about 5 years, and really we develop integrated solutions, integrated industry specific solutions. So When you look at some of our largest customers, they play in the construction industry, the mining industry, the insurance industry, and why we're sitting here today, the roofing industry as well. So at Kespri, I lead our insurance sales as well as our channel partnerships, and our most important channel partner sitting right there, XAP 360. It's been an amazing experience working with these guys for the past 3 years. And we're just seeing tremendous growth and tremendous adoption in the roofing industry with our drone-based kind of solution, and then the roofing-specific software and solution that XAP puts on top of that.
Cool. So really, with this technology, and like I always say, technology breaks things, but really what it does is revolutionizes things in a lot of ways, right? So let's start off with, talking about kind of the use of this type of technology in the roofing industry. I mean, specifically, it's around roofing inspections, correct, Justin?
That's correct, Jim. Yeah, it is around roofing inspections. And as we've all known or know in the past that, roofs are becoming more and more complex. They're steep, they're high, it's dangerous to be on a roof. And so we have the exclusive sales opportunity and channel for roofing partnered with Kespri. And yes, our drone-based solution is a solution that performs an inspection on either a residential, or is able to perform an inspection on a residential home or a multifamily kind of condo complex, apartment complex, in a fraction of the time it would take to actually get the ladder off of the truck, put the ladder up on the building, and actually walk that structure, looking for damage, identifying damage, taking photos of damage. All of these things are accomplished through our drone, and the data is then collected, sent into the cloud, analyzed, and sent back to the contractor or whoever the pilot of that property may be in a matter of hours. And when that report comes back to the contractor or that pilot at that point in time, it is complete with the AI computer vision analysis that Kespri is providing for us. And so it's really something else. I mean, the camera is a 4D camera, or I'm sorry, like a 4K camera, not 4D, 4K camera. It might be on the product development pipeline. We'll have to ask Garrett about that. Okay. But a 4K camera, so you're getting high resolution images that are stitched together to give you a full scope of not only what the roof looks like, anything that the drone may see as an anomaly, so things like missing shingles, hail hits, damage to soft metals. That drone is picking that information up, and while it's up there, it's taking measurements. And so by the time you get that report back, you have a complete inspection tool that you can go ahead and talk to the customer about, or property as a management company or board or association. You've got a complete solution that you can provide that will also allow you as the contractor to flow through material list orders in terms of having, the correct measurements that you need. It's really it's something, Jim. It's really quite impressive.
Yeah, that's what's cool about it. And so let's go back. Let's break it down a little bit more basically. So sure. The first thing that you do is you have to fly a drone, and that drone flies over the building and takes pictures from many different angles, I'm assuming.
That's correct. Different angles and different heights.
Okay. Different angles and different heights. Then once it has these pictures, that's what gets uploaded into the cloud, and where the artificial intelligence, machine learning kind of software goes after it and analyzes it at that time. Correct?
Yes, that's correct. That's when once it hits that cloud, that's let's call it's transferred from the contractor into Kespri's house.
Okay.
And this is where Kespri is, as Garrett previously mentioned, the leader in AI, computer vision. And this is when Garrett's team, or the AI, takes off and is screaming down the runway at that point.
Yeah. And so, Garrett, explain that process or what happens. What is the software looking at? What is it? what types of things is it calculating and identifying and things like that 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 make it different than a human inspection, I guess.
Yeah, no problem. So, I mean, like I said, we have multiple we have industry specific features, right? Especially for specifically for the roofing side of things, when all of the imagery is downloaded and uploaded into the cloud from the drone and the iPad. A couple of different processes take place, right? We're stitching together all of that imagery, so the contractor can get a full scope of the actual roof and the property. Next, we're looking at things like possible storm damage, right? And that's where your ML comes into place, where we have algorithms that will look at wind, we'll look at hail, anything that would be interesting in the claim process, in the re-roof process, maintenance process, as well as identify things like roofing accessories that are very important to identify, as well as put together a full measurement report, much like other vendors on the market. So we're doing all of that autonomously and seamlessly right after the flight. Something that manually could take hours to complete on one home. You're just looking at contractors that are able to get 10 plus homes done in that 1 hour, and all of that automation taking place on the back end is doing the analysis for them. So the contractor can then open up the computer screen, log into the cloud, see the analysis fully done, and then can show that or share that with the homeowner, or like Justin said, CapEx director, property manager, whoever that may be.
Yeah, that's cool. So essentially, the contractor is flying the drone, or a drone pilot if they're not a certified drone or licensed drone pilot or whatever,
Sure.
and then collecting that data, and then they're moving on in the process, right? They can move
Correct.
on to building number 2, to home number 2, to the next prospect maybe, and then all of the analysis is getting done through the software. And how accurate are like the measurements that are coming through, and identification of the accessories and things like that?
Sure.
Yeah,
So,
that's
Jim,
really
go ahead.
it's really an interesting part of the system, because you're getting real time data from the drone system that's flying merely feet above the roof peak, whether that's a steep slope residential, whether that's a low slope commercial building. You're flying so close to the roof and you're gathering that real time data. Measurements are within a percentage point of true measurement of the actual roof, the actual property. And in terms of the data we're collecting for the algorithms, we're very accurate on the ML algorithm side as well, because again, you're getting that real time accuracy. You're not getting a historical look. I'm not getting imagery from maybe like a Cessna plane or satellite. It makes for an incredibly valuable solution, especially for single family homes or multifamily homes. When you look at the type of damage you're looking at, wear and tear, granular loss, or storm damage. And then, sorry, Justin, I interrupted. If you want to take it from there.
Yeah, I was going to tip my hat to Kespri on this, because one of the things that's been so great about this, Jim, is that because they are the leader in computer vision and AI, all the data that is either in the cloud now or is upcoming in the cloud, they're continuing to process it, right? So they're continuing to learn. So if anything, the AI continues to get better and better and better. And I've seen that in the 12, 13 months that I've been in my role with XAP. That things like the wind damage and missing shingles, creased shingles, things of that nature are coming to light and becoming more and more accurate, because the AI is continuing to refine its process, which is awesome.
Yeah, and for people, for those listening, that's essentially what AI is. It's called machine learning, right? So the better data you can feed it, the better data you get out of it. So it can continue to learn and continue to process that. I have my cousin's husband is a programmer. He programs machine learning code, and we've had some cool conversations, and like he's done things. He's worked on projects for he has code in like the Mayo Clinic in Minnesota. High tech. Analytics for the medical industry. And then one of the projects that he worked with though was with a bank, and they took all this bank's data, all the deposit and payment history from these banks, from this bank, and they put together an algorithm that would determine what the balance of your bank account would be at a certain point in time in history. And by analyzing all of this past data and over all of these people's buying habits and spending and deposit habits, it would determine this. And it's insane that that type of thing can happen. But it's having the right data is also like a big part of it, because if you feed it things that are not what you want on the other end, you're not going to get the right answer. And that's what's difficult with AI, or what's challenging. It's like you have to. It's very very, very sensitive to what you put into it, right?
Sure.
We deal with that on the marketing side with like Google. Google has a lot of AI built into their paid advertising platforms, and Facebook has a lot of AI, in their paid advertising platforms. And if we tell it we want a certain result, it will go and get that result.
Sure.
But if you tell it the wrong thing, you're going to get a lot of the wrong thing. So that's cool that to your point, the more data that's being collected, the better that the AI can get. So the more wind damaged shingles that it gets to view, the more easily it can identify a wind damaged shingle, right? It's pretty amazing, man. Like,
It is. And, and Kespri pushes us, right? So, I mean, as much as we want to push and be the sales channel, Kespri as the software provider pushes us and makes sure that, we're communicating that into our network, into our community, that the quality of the data that's coming in is a direct reflection of the quality data that's coming out. And, specific, not to make it about XAP, but specific to our platform, the drone flies autonomously. Yes, you still need your Part 107, but the drone flies autonomously. And so benchmarks or parameters, if you will, that Kespri's put in place allow that drone to continue to get high quality data. And so it's always flying at the same heights. It's always identifying the roof. It's adjusting to make sure that it gets the right information that it needs, so that even in 12 months from now, that damage detection feature is going to be that much more refined, which is I think you said it's breaking the rules of what an inspection can actually look like.
Yeah.
On June 16th, 2020 and June 16th, 2021.
Yeah. And it goes fast. There's an exponential curve on that learning. So let's talk about let's move into a little bit about that. There's, really things like this can create a culture shift almost, right? It can change the way that business is done. Maybe Justin, speak to some of the things that you have seen on your side in those, like the way things are changing in that regard.
Yeah, no, Jim, I'll tell you, I mean, the pandemic, right? I mean, was a situation where we had to step back and we said, look, we know there's still storms. Our contractors have systems in place, but you can't knock on anybody's door anymore. People are weary to open the door. And we saw an opportunity for us to educate our contractors, and along with Kespri and our other partners that are out there, we saw an opportunity to utilize the social distancing measures to actually be able to use the drone to fly a property, to be able to get that report back in a timely manner, to be able to save that report as a PDF, to be able to email that PDF to a homeowner, and to be able to do something like this, a Zoom call or a phone call where you can walk the homeowner right directly through what the inspection was without actually knocking on the door. right?
Yeah.
Without actually being in the customer's home. And we have had multiple contractors that have adopted this style of the cult sales process and have seen a tremendous amount of success with it, because it does take that door knocking kind of process out of it a little bit. Now there still is an opportunity to have the canvassing and the door knocking, but it also gives the homeowner an opportunity to see an unbiased view of what that the information that the drone took, pictures took, and information processed. And so whether you find damage or whether you don't, you now have an opportunity as a contractor to develop a customer, because either way you can generate a report, send that report to Mr. Smith, and Mr. Smith will always kind of know, hey, this is what my roof looked like on June 16th, 2021.
Yeah.
And, hey, if something ever does happen, a storm comes through, I'd be much more apt to call this particular contractor, because they didn't try to sell me anything, but they've got the data and they've got the report and they were great to deal with. And from the contractor side, Jim, same thing. You have the data, you have the customer, and you have the ability to now fly that property again, kind of do an image overlay. You'll be able to say, hey, here's in fact what that storm did to this roof or this slope or this valley. So you can really utilize the technology not only as a sales tool but as a customer service tool.
Yeah, I'm sure COVID really pushed a lot of things out there in the forefront, right? That it was like, man, we can't be in contact anymore. So, but what really changed? QR codes. QR code, right? Like QR codes were like there. It was like something that someone invented that went away, and now all of a sudden we're using all these QR codes. And where did that come from? So COVID was probably a shift that pushed that maybe helped push this technology forward a little bit. I could tell you a story of one of our clients on our agency side that uses you guys, and he tore his bicep muscle and wasn't able to climb a ladder. So what he did is he just started doing drone inspections in lieu of physical inspections. And that allowed him to continue doing business. Right? It was a vital tool for him in that regard. And if the technology wasn't available, he would have had to hire someone or do something like that just to get the inspections done. But I thought that was a pretty cool thing.
And he's crushing it. I know who he is. He's crushing it. Couldn't be happier.
Yeah. So along with that culture shift, I see that it's not just the homeowner that this shifts from, or the contractor changing the way that they look at things. Maybe Garrett, you could speak to this a little bit about what you're seeing on the insurance side, right? Because I have a feeling that insurance companies are going to really like this technology and utilize this type of technology also.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And it's, I really think it's where the market's going, both on the contractor and the insurance side. I mean, for insurance companies who hire so many adjusters out in the field, claims adjusters out in the field, I mean, they're wanting to keep their employees safe. And we both know on this call that roof inspection is one of the most dangerous jobs in the world. And so when you look at it that way and you see where the technology is now, where you can get a consistent, high-quality view of a roof, high res, with measurements and certain anomalies identified within 5 minutes without the adjuster or contractor adjuster in this sense having to get on the roof, it's a no-brainer. And so, the other thing that insurance companies are looking at, and why wouldn't they be, is they're looking for trends in the market. They're looking for trends in the region. They're looking to figure out how to be better partners with their insureds. How they can adjust rates and premiums to be more applicable to the region they're at. And so with all of that being said, it makes sense they're looking to build a digital twin of that asset in the cloud, right? And being able to store that data. And Justin talked about having time series of that data. So they could be more of an advisor to the homeowner. And really that's the same thing that, is going on the roofing side, albeit, at maybe a slower pace, but they're looking to do the same thing with their clients.
Yeah, and it's like I know we had talked about it in the past about or on other conversations about like there's a use for this technology in storm damage restoration markets, especially
Sure.
pre-storm and post-storm. So there's kind of really two applications. The first is almost creating a baseline report of that roof, right? Now here's the baseline. Here is a roof with no damage, and then future iterations, future inspections that you do with the drone. Now you're showing the iterations of any damage that occurred to that roof. You guys want to talk about that a little bit and what you're seeing there?
Sure. It's that process, Jim, is one that is adopted heavily by our contractor network, and it is not only specific to residential, but also in that multifamily apartment complex condo. Because the association, the board, the property management company, they want to know what kind of condition their roof is in, and so when there's a contractor out there that's done work with them or has earned business along the way. Not only are they able to fly that property, whether there's damage or not, but they're able to turn that into a full-blown report, be able to sit down with the customer and say, hey, roof looks great. Or even taking it a step further, if there was damage, they do an install on a new roof. Then they go ahead and they fly that roof at that point in time. And you're right, you've got a timestamp where you can come back out and, Mr. Customer, we did the installation. Thank you for your business. Let's take a look at what it looks like now. And you're able to kind of get that timestamp of, the 1st of July, 2021, you've got, this is what my brand new roof looked like. And that contractor may say, hey, I'll come out and fly it annually for you, if it's a contractor that has the ability to do that. And then you're constantly staying in touch with that customer, building that rapport, and collecting that data along the way, so that if anything does come, an event of, we call it like a loss event, but if a loss event does come along the way, you can actually go to that insurance company and say, look, we flew this a year ago, 3 months ago, 2 days ago, and the roof looked great. Here it is. And post-storm, you can fly that same exact pattern, and the technology that Kespri's come up with will allow you to take that property A pre-storm, property A post-storm, overlay those images onto each other so that you got the box vents are in the same, the turtle vents or the box vents are in the same exact spot, and you're able to just turn on different color highlights of, hey, this wasn't here, this is here, and actually have an unbiased, open dialogue with the insurance company and the homeowners association or property management company or residential homeowner. And it's not, a close-up image of one tiny shingle. It's a full-blown view of what you're looking at. And it's done in 6 minutes, right, Jim?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not getting on a ladder, getting on a 4-story apartment complex in 6 minutes. That's not me. So the fact that the technology continues to get faster and faster, it's definitely something that we believe heavily in is the future of inspections.
Yeah, and I know we talked about this a little bit, Garrett, and like the acceptance on the insurance industry side of accepting your data, right? That's another thing.
Right,
Another thing that has to happen is to say, yeah, this is accurate data. They're when we get a Kespri report, we know that data is accurate, right? Or accurate to the extent that we want it to be, and now we can proceed through the claims process accordingly, right?
Sure.
And, I think that's going to be a big change, and I think more of that will come, right? Like the baseline report is so interesting to me, right? Yeah. Being able to do that pre-storm report. It's interesting on so many levels, right? Like, I mean, a lot of times, contractors are like, well, we're in our slow season. Well, what should we do? Well, fly, go out in the neighborhood and fly all the roofs, give these people baseline reports or something. I don't know. I'm just throwing stuff out there, but I'm like, this just like, now you're introducing yourself to the homeowner or the building owner, to the property management company or whatever it is, with this just a different type of scope, right? Like, hey, we're gonna, we'll fly this for you, and we'll give you this report. And now that's such a different way of connecting with that and differentiating yourself in the market. I think that's so cool, right? Right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think, and this is where I talk about it. Like, there's that the Wayne Gretzky quote is skating towards the puck, right? And I think that contractors have to start making adjustments. You have to skate where the puck is going. We get caught up a lot of times in what we do, and this is how we do it. Technology will make that change very quickly, and you don't want to be left behind in that regard. So,
yeah, I mean, to your point, Jim, I think you look at the healthcare industry, you look at the retail industry, you look at the insurance industry, customers are demanding a better experience. They're demanding a more unique, tailored experience. And when you look at what if we just even take the baseline flight, you look what that provides. How many homeowners have been up on the roof, understand, what damage does, what wear and tear is? Not many, if any at all. And so you as the contractor in this situation, bring that to the table. You're now enhancing that customer experience. It's maybe not what you've done before, but now you're really building a book of clientele, building a book of relationships with that technology.
Yeah, and I'm sure over time that will get less. I don't know if that would be cost prohibitive at this time. Like, hey, we're just going to go fly every house in our service area.
Sure.
You know what I mean? Like, that may be cost prohibitive at this time, but over time those costs usually come down with technology. The more it's used and things like that. So I don't, you could get with Justin and talk about the cost. We're not going to do a commercial for XAP on that.
Jim, just to add on that, I mean, we're on a marketing podcast. I think, can you really put a price on that? I mean, yeah, sure, it might be cost prohibitive to begin with, but this is an opportunity for you to be out in front of homeowners and property managers, and you're building a brand by being on site. That combined with it's awesome. Right? Like, I mean, anybody wants to come out. Like, if they've got the opportunity to step outside and see a drone in the air and doing that, and they're like, wow, it's inspecting my roof right now. Like, yes, it is. And typically what we find is at that point in time, whether it's the homeowner or the board or the, association, they're out there talking, communicating with the pilot. And so the drone is flying autonomously. This is a rapport build opportunity. Yeah. And although we're getting faster and faster, it's 6 minutes that you may not otherwise have when you're getting that baseline flight in.
Yeah. So what there are some limitations to the drone flights, right? There are some limitations still to the way that the drones can fly, especially in more mature areas.
Sure.
And then is there a limitation on the material that it's inspecting? Is it just is it focused right now on asphalt shingle, or can you inspect a TPO roof or a bitumen roof and also figure out that, have that same analysis?
Sure. So right now it is specific to asphalt shingles, but I can tell you, not to leak any secrets, but Kespri's continuing to develop.
Yeah, of course. There's always, You always have to keep developing, right? But start with But at this time, asphalt shingle is what is being able to be analyzed with the software.
Well, that's correct.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say to kind of expand on that. Said obviously the drone system could to inspect any type of material. It really is about the type of algorithms that you pair, the data that you have, and algorithms you pair with that, so that those specific features are for a low slope flat roof or a steep slope shingled roof. Right now, our focus currently with XAP, not to kind of get into this relationship, is around steep slope shingled. Where the industry is right now in general is you can definitely inspect. We've got drones out there with thermal sensors attached, with other sensors attached that can provide more than just imagery itself. So, to contractors out there, depending on what they want to inspect, I mean, there's a plethora.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it doesn't mean you can't fly a metal roof. It just
Sure.
means that some of the damage detection may not be wouldn't be as accurate because it's looking for anomalies and things on a shingled roof.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that we don't have contractors that can fly a metal roof, because the images are still in the cloud. The images are
Yeah.
still high definition. You can
Yeah.
still take an opportunity and view that report and actually comb through the images with just a click and drag on a screen, as if you were watching a 4K sports game. And
Yeah.
if there's something, a specific area that you're looking for, you can drill down on that area and get yourself a bird's eye view, if you will.
Yeah. And so that's kind of also kind of leads into, do you really need the software, right? Like a lot of contractors will say, well, I use my drone to inspect roofs, but I just use it for that imagery. And then they, manually do it. Of course that's a way to do it, right? But,
Sure.
the AI is going to probably be able to do that a lot more efficiently than that. But even like you're saying, if it was the algorithm like we spoke about earlier, the algorithm has to have the right data in to be able to determine what it's looking at, right? And give a good
Sure.
analysis of it. So I'm sure as time goes on that, you just keep, all right, now let's develop our metal roof algorithm. Now let's develop our flat roof algorithm, right? Let's develops, additional, it's just additional programming.
What do we call it?
No,
The product development pipeline? Is that?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly that. It's a little more than, if you think about it, right? When you talk about a full, flying in mature areas, lots of foliage, right? We look at it as a hardware and software solution, right? So you could go out and buy a drone and try to manually fly through a lot of that foliage, and it would be very unsafe, and the quality of data would go down, and probably by the third or fourth house, that drone would be in a tree, right? Or you could go with an autonomous flight with obstacle avoidance that intelligently senses the roof peak. And so then your data is kind of that consistent quality data in the cloud, and you can run those, not only the algorithms, but processing software. So when you look at, buying a drone at wherever your local store, local electronics store versus, engaging with a drone aerial data program, the value adds are just, it's huge.
Yeah, for sure. What do you need for people out there, what do you need to do to legally operate a drone?
Sure. So, go ahead, Garrett.
Okay. It's a pretty easy process. It's pretty simple. It's called the FAA Part 107 test, and it allows you to commercially fly unmanned aerial vehicles. The test itself, multiple choice test, talks about kind of the rules of the air, the do's and do nots when you're flying a UAV or a drone. Primarily we see most of, and just speaking from Casper XAP, we see a lot of our customers pass first time that test. It's pretty straightforward. And then with that, you have your license to be able to fly commercially. And again, just speaking from our point of view, and I know there's a lot of other vendors out there that provide, and third-party services provide study guides, but study guides, practice tests to help our clients and customers to get through. We recommend for folks who are doing this first time to utilize one of those services, whether it be through us or a third-party service, to be able to study through that. And once you have that license, I believe it's a 2-year license that can be renewed.
That's correct. And, from the XAP side, we do have a customer success group that helps guide along that path. I think the last thing we want to do is talk about how great this is and then not help you make sure that you can get your license to fly. But it is, you do need a pilot's license to fly, and it is 2 years with active before you need to renew.
I just thought about another thing. We've done a few video shoots with clients and bringing, putting drones up to get some cool shots and stuff like that. And aren't there certain locations where you're not allowed to fly, like near commercial airports and things like that, or within certain, what are those? How does that work? Do you know much about that?
Oh yeah, we know all about it. Actually, we know quite a bit about this.
We run into that often. No.
Yeah. So there are no-fly zones.
Okay.
I think I've been in the organization, like I said, for the last 13, 14 months. I think twice we've come across no-fly zone. One
Yep.
just happened to be in the direct path of a private airport that was of the main landing strip, and the home was just happened to be on a latitude and longitude that was exactly in line, and the other one was close to an Air Force base.
Yeah.
But Garrett, maybe you could talk a little bit about the app that Kespri integrates with that allows the pilots or contractors to kind of check to make sure that they would be in a safe space to take off.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, our application, our flight operations application is integrated with a company who basically is the Google Maps for the air. And so wherever the pilot or the salesman, contractor, wherever it is looking to fly, they can open up that application and see if they're in a restricted airspace. The FAA has come leaps and bounds in the past several years. So now that most airspace is unlocked, operators will simply have to file an automatic approval or automatic waiver on our flight ops application itself. So they're approved instantly. And to Justin's point, the only areas where you'd probably need to get unique approval directly from the FAA would be restricted sites like military bases close by. But other than that, again, another reason why it's very helpful in the value add to go and be partnered into a full drone solution is in a situation like this where your pilot comes on site, they're in maybe Class B, Class C airspace next to an international airport. Through our app, you can file automatic approval waivers. And then be able to fly the property instantly.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and then you guys, when we were talking earlier too, or the other day, I mean, you guys you have a record of every single flight that was flown, right?
Yeah,
that is correct.
I was like, man, that is amazing, because now when a storm comes through, like essentially you just have a map of all the homes that you've already flown. You know exactly where your potential customers are for that, for that storm incident. Speak to that a little bit. I know you guys do that on the XAP side, right? You have the weather data integration.
That's correct. Yeah, we do. So we map latitude, longitudes of missions, as we refer to our flights as missions. We map the latitude and the longitude, and then we're constantly every morning the whole team gets an email that says, "Hey, weather was detected," which I know all kinds of contractors do this, but weather was detected in this area, and we could take that kind of weather swap and overlay it with the lats and longitudes of missions that have been flown, and we automate a notification to our contractors that said, "Hey guys, we were seeing 1.5-inch, 2-inch hail or severe winds in something that's in your territory, and we suggest you maybe check this out. Dispatch your pilots." Which, to bring our conversation back to what we said, this is an instance where you've already flown Mr. Smith's house. You can go back out and say, "Hey, we got a notification that you might have had some wind last night. Oh, I thought I heard something. Do you mind if we fly it again? We'll let you know." And you can really close that loop by utilizing the tech that's out there for all to use.
Yeah, I think that's super cool. That's that pre and post event, right? And I mean, you don't have to fly only damaged roofs, is the way I look at the solution. I'm like, man, I would try to fly every roof if it was me, but like as a contractor, and then that's data. That person is in your database, and as a marketer, I want the more people we have in the database, the better. That's the way I look at things, man. So what other thoughts do you have on kind of where this goes in the next 3-5 years?
Garrett, I mean,
we'll go Garrett first.
I could go another 45 minutes on something like this, but look, from XAP side, being in the roofing space and the sales channels for the roofing contractors, it really is just about getting our own brand out there and our technology out there, and to encourage and support our contractor network to make sure that they're utilizing our solution, utilizing process, and that they're having a really great customer experience. Because as long as they're having that process, Jim, it's allowing more and more accurate data to get uploaded into that cloud, which allows Kespri as the leader to really start to advance what they are, what they're doing, and what this drone is, or what the AI is looking for once the data is uploaded. We're doing, we'll begin this year with, the top 10 contractors, where we do kind of a roundtable where we all in Kespri will take part in it, but where we kind of just talk about, advancements that we would like to see, and we share that information with Kespri, and Kespri can take that, take that back and build it into that product development pipeline. But I think overall, just since 2020 and through thus far in 2021, we've seen a lot of contractors adopt our technology. And whether that is a function of them being a new contractor and more familiar with technology, or an older contractor not so familiar that doesn't want to get left behind, and quite frankly might not ever really want to get up on a roof ever again as a salesman, and get the ladder out of their truck. And so we are seeing a lot more adoption of the technology at this point in time. And I think, to my point, it just, the more adoption of the technology, the more flights that are flown, the more information that's uploaded, the more the AI can be processed and utilized and leveraged to help the contractor's experience and the customer's experience at the end of the day.
Yeah. So what are some of those things? What's on the top 10 list? What are your contractors asking for? What's the big one that you're like, man, this is the next one that we're going to implement, or we want to implement, and that would take us from a 9 to a 10, or a 10 to an 11. I'm sure you would say that it's already a 10, but like, how do you get it even better than it is now, right? Where is it going? What do you think is down the road for this type of technology?
Well, I can tell you what we've been begging kids for.
I was like, be careful with your answer here, Justin.
That's right. We're getting
my product team on the line.
No. So, as Garrett mentioned, they're working on some thermal imaging stuff as well. And they're working on it in multiple different spaces. We'd love to see that kind of thermal come across to our end, because thermal is important for a flat roof, right?
Yeah.
And so I know we've talked about it at length. I know personally it's something that we would love to see. Flat roofs are huge. Flat roofs are hot. Flat roofs are high, right? And so it does lend itself to being something that, XAP, if we could have a wish list, I think it would be along, we'd love to have the opportunity to continue to expand, because we know the shingle product is going to continue to get better as we grow and more contractors come in and the AI gets better. But we do start to think about things like, other type of roofs that are out there, other type of data that we can upload that we know Kespri will do the absolute best possible work analyzation of. And so I know that's our wish list. I think I've mentioned it to Garrett, but thanks for bringing this one fully out.
He paid me to.
What's going on here?
To do it live on the air. No, but so Garrett, you guys, Kespri doesn't just do this for roofing, right? I said there's mining applications. There's so many different applications of this. What is the thing what are you guys talking about as the future? Like where are these things going? Not just specifically for roofing, but what's the future of a lot of this that people might not be able to see right now?
Sure. So I think what we think about data and data collection, some of our customers who have been with us for a while now, they have this massive pile of aggregated unstructured data. And so we're seeing, folks in the insurance side and their data science teams taking all of that aggregated data and starting to sort through it. On the mining side, you start to identify trends throughout your plants. And so I think probably the kind of holistic view on this, or where I think it's going, is you're going to see a lot of businesses, mining, construction, insurance, roofing, become to be more proactive businesses where they're starting to identify trends with their clients or with their operations and become smarter organizations because of the data they've collected in these inspections. And it doesn't have to be over a roof. It can be over a mine. It can be, over an unfinished construction project, right? But you're taking all of that data and being a more proactive organization versus, reactive to doing that inspection.
That's cool. That's cool. So Justin, how can they find XAP 360 and get a hold of you guys if anyone wants to learn more?
Sure. So, we're a small organization. We're growing. So there's a high probability either myself or Phil Pratt will answer the phone. But we are xap360.com. You can submit right on the website, your kind of customer contact form, and it will be one of us that reaches out to you as quickly as possible. And then, of course, we've got our social handles at XAP360. That's going to be for LinkedIn, Facebook, and Instagram. So please encourage you to follow us. And if you're interested, just submit the contact us form on xap360.com and we will reach out to you as quickly as possible.
Cool. This has been another episode of the Roofing Success Podcast. If you would like to generate more sales through your digital marketing efforts, please visit roofermarketers.com and get a copy of the book, Internet Marketing for Roofing Contractors, How to Triple Your Sales and Turn Your Roofing Website into an Online Lead Generation Machine. Also, check the training section of the website for guides on everything from running effective pay-per-click ads to how to properly set up your Google My Business listing. This has been another episode of the Roofing Success Podcast. Thanks for listening.